Nobody likes losing money. Let's talk about pre-ordering in TCGs. Well, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. Hope you're having yourself an amazing day, an amazing, absolutely great day. Hope you're finding some joy and some encouragement wherever you are in your life. If not, look around. I'm sure there's something to be thankful for as we're rolling to Thanksgiving and all those things. Anyway, let's move on. We're gonna talk about today on this channel about pre-ordering. We're gonna talk about how to leverage released weekends for TCG collectors. You could probably apply this to players and investors, but I'm using this word collectors as that's where I really fall into this world. We're kind of coming off the release of two of the games that I cover the most with Tales of Aria and Nightfall. We've seen these releases happen, and I'm getting a lot of, I've gotten more negative comments this week in my PMs than probably any other week before, as people see the box prices of some of these games going downwards where they bought from their pre-orders. For instance, Flesh and Blood, we have a certain company that was selling pre-sales of boxes for $175, now is dumping boxes for $83 for 4 for a case, $329 for a case on eBay. It's a seemingly great deal. Go get it on eBay, Card Shop Live. Anyway, so this is the issue is people who pre-ordered at $175 and then got hosed when they came to the market and dumped it. I have a whole lot of things to talk about with that. I'm not gonna get into it. You've already heard me talk about these snowballs and things like that and frustration. I'm frustrated. Let's just move on and let's talk about how to leverage that instead of being negative. I wanna kind of flip the script because we're also seeing like Nightfall singles drop a lot in value. If you bought Nightfall singles last week, you've probably lost a lot of your value. So I wanna try to flip the script on this and say, how can you leverage the pre-order price that you pay in order to get access to the product early and take advantage of the market in the first week? That's the kind of conversation I want to have here. And the goal here is not to make your money back. It's to leverage it to be able to lower your cost of entry is the idea here. So the goal here is to offset your investment by selling early and then buying back like 4 to 5 weeks post-release seems to be the sweet spot where we're starting to figure out what singles are worth and that kind of thing in these worlds. And that's the same with like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. It seems like 4 to 5 weeks post-release is like, no, I'm not gonna call it a bottom, but the healthy place to say, okay, it's time to start buying and finishing out your collection. So the number one thing I want to say is only sell the cards that you don't want to collect. As a collector, I think it's very important to not get so wrapped up in the short-term financial side of things, in other words, you're selling cards that you actually want to keep because you think that the price will be lower later, and it's like doubling down on it. I would say if you are in this for the long haul, you should not sell the cards that you want in your collection in order to buy them back cheaper later. If you buy a box for $175 and the EV or the box goes down, I don't think that it's wise to sell the card now in order to then buy the card in the future. What you end up doing is paying like a 10% fee for selling the card and then paying like a 6 to 7% tax fee plus shipping to buy the card in the future. So you're already offsetting yourself by about 25%, and you may make your 10, 20, 30% gains in that, but I don't think that it's worth your time and your energy that it takes to also sell the card and then buy the card back. So only sell the cards that you don't want, and then I'm gonna say this, in duplicate. So like we'll use I think in Magic the Gathering and Flesh and Blood and all these card games, the best time to do this right now is I think by selling your non-foils. Like, and I'm biased here, I really only like collecting foils. Like I don't love, like I think even my Monarch set, I just have like a box full of the Monarch non-foil Majestics. I don't have like a binder full of them. My binder is my foils, and like I really collect foils is what I do. So I'm a little bit biased here, but it seems like the market loses the most value in the non-foils. Like if you look at like the amount that you could get from, anyway, I just think non-foils are a good thing to sell on release weekend because you're not going to miss out. If it ends up going up in price, you're not going to really miss out on anything. Like it's not going to skyrocket up to $300 or something like that, like a cold foil could. You could sell like a cold foil or some sort of rare foil from another game for $35, and then eventually that card could become the pinnacle card, and because it's the foil version, the multiplier is going to skyrocket it. So I always think that it's healthy to sell off your non-foils, and when I buy boxes as pre-orders, the first thing that I do when I go to sell is I list the non-foils, because that's also the most liquid of the assets. Less people are going to spend more money for the foil, so the non-foils are the most liquid asset other than the sealed boxes. Non-foils are the most liquid asset that you pull from the box, which allows you to make your money back quicker, which is really the goal of this conversation, is how to get that money back before everyone else tries to get the money back, because there's a race to this bottom on release weekend. So only sell the cards that you don't want, and I'm advocating for duplicates of the cards that you love or non-foils as well. The second point here is to invest time and list early. I know release weekend is always super fun. You want to be at the LGS playing. You want to organize your cards and sort your cards and see if you got your full collection. You want to do all the things that you do with, you've been anticipating this new set and you want to enjoy it. And by far the most important thing in any trading card game, in any collectible, in any hobby, is that you find joy in what you're doing. And that needs to be the number one thing. But on release week, it's important that you also schedule some time in order to list your cards and sell them. I can't tell you how many times I've put a stack of cards on the side of my table and it's taken me 3, 4, 5 weeks in order to list those, and the value of those cards has decreased by 25% because I didn't take the hour that it took to list them. So what I'm going to try to do moving forward is say, hey, on release weekend, I'm going to add another hour to my day. I'm going to stay up another hour later and I'm going to list those cards. And I think that's a really healthy thing. Try to get to the market early so that you get those sales before the market kind of goes down on theirs, and schedule time to do that so that you don't get distracted by the fun side. Again, any hobby, you need to find the joy in it, but this channel, I really try to emphasize that you can actually use your hobby in order to fund your hobby, and sometimes there's work involved. Sometimes you have to do stuff that's not super fun. Last night I sat here and I shipped orders for 3 hours. It was not super fun, but it was necessary for me to enjoy this hobby in a deeper way. So schedule out the time, take the time, invest the time to do that. And now number 3, don't over pre-order. We are quickly realizing in these alternate TCG markets that the supply is increasing. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like. But what it tells me, and what the last 2 or 3 big sets in the Flesh and Blood world look like, and what kind of where Nightfall is currently, is that the printers and that the companies that make these games are understanding their demand and are starting to meet the demand, which should mean, hypothetically, hopefully, it should mean that pre-order prices are much closer to MSRP. If the Snowball Company would have not gotten as much allocation for their big store, they would not have sold it at $175. If that allocation was given to a bunch of other LGSs, then the price of pre-ordering would have gone down and they wouldn't have all these extra boxes to now be putting on eBay at $329 a case. And so as we are all learning, and as those companies are learning what the distribution looks like, what the supply looks like, and how that is starting to meet the demand, I really, really think as we move forward in these alternate TCGs that you're going to see more and more availability at MSRP, whereas opposed to before we were above MSRP. You see this in Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. Prices are much closer to MSRP on release week than they are afterwards. sorry, they're much closer to MSRP than the kind of newer card games, as these newer card games are finding their demand. So the third point here, I'm sorry I've been babbling around it, is don't over pre-order. I think moving forward, you have to really consider that your pre-order price is probably no longer going to be the pinnacle price for the set. You're probably not going to be paying the least amount that you're going to be able to pay as a pre-order. Now, I'm not telling you not to pre-order. I know a bunch of people have said, hey, I'm not going to pre-order the next set. I think that's not good. You should want to enjoy the set the week that it comes out. I think pre-ordering has a place in our community. I think it's good. I think the key is don't overcommit to your pre-orders. Don't let that FOMO catch you where it's like, this is the only time I'm gonna be able to get something. This is the only time I'm gonna ever get that promo. The way that history is looking like is that you will have a better opportunity to get that card or that value or that box eventually. And there's a window here. We are starting to see these alternate TCGs enter more into this space of regular TCG markets, which is a really healthy thing that says that the adaptation of the game is growing and that the companies are able to print boxes to the demand, which means that the companies are able to make more money, which means that the companies are able to make better products, which means that long term these companies will be more successful and that your risk is less as a result of the companies able to make more profit. If a company is able to make more profit, the risk for us as consumers is less, because that means that company is going to be able to stay around and keep on making boxes in the future. So anyway, that's the 3 points I've got here. We're in this new world. More success equals higher print run. What this looks like is don't overextend. I think you're going to start seeing for Flesh and Blood, WTR through Crew seem to be like the pinnacle of the collecting side of this game. Flesh and Blood, it seems that is like the pinnacle of collectability, and we'll see what happens moving forward. My opinion is it's not bearish, it's not sad, it's not anger, it's not frustration. My opinion is that the supply of the newer boxes like Monarch and Tales has met the demand of the current game. And what that means is that they're going to start seeing a slower return moving in the future, which is great. Long term, it's great. It's a good thing. But the previous history of these games has been instant free tendies, and it's very important that you don't overextend yourself pre-ordering for these instant free tendies, because those instant free tendies aren't going to be there anymore. So my encouragement to you is do not overextend yourself. Buy what you want to collect. If you are an investor, that's your own thing. If you're a player and you need the cards today, that's your own thing. For this is for collectors. Buy what you need to collect. Offset your investment by selling some of the things that you don't want to collect. That's it. Hope you enjoy the video. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What's your game plan moving into these card games for pre-release weekends and for release weekends? How do you plan on collecting the game? Very interested to hear about it. Hope you have yourself a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again later for another video.